What's going on, everybody? Super Saiyan Player back again with some breaking news, information, updates, guys. It seems as though, I'm not going to 100% confirm it, but it seems as though someone has spilled the information on whether or not Dragon Ball Super will be continuing later this year, if anything. So, how do we know this? How do we know that Dragon Ball Super is coming back? Well, there's going to be a couple of screenshots in this video where it shows us that Toei actually went to an expo, and it's an expo where they decide to sell off the licensings for the toys, merchandising, TV deals, and stuff like that. And somebody that went to the expo that was part of Toei Animation, apparently, not only in Dragon Ball, but as well as for One Piece, mentioned that they're making more episodes of Dragon Ball Super. So take this with a grain of salt, guys. It's not 100% confirmed, but this article that just recently came out was only 2 days ago. This expo is very recent, and for them to go there and try to sell the rights for more merchandising, it makes sense. And then on top of that, with the success of the Broly movie, mind you, a couple weeks ago, before it even released in North America and the rest of the world, it had already broken over 27 million, and then on the first day of release or so, 7 million in the US. This movie was doing ridiculously crazy under the Dragon Ball Super brand. So with all of these things being said, the amount of money that these guys are making, it would be crazy not to continue Dragon Ball Super. That's what we all said when Dragon Ball Super ended, and guess what? We come out with a Dragon Ball Super movie later that year, which kills even more success. So take this with a grain of salt, guys. They kind of leaked the fact that they're making more episodes of Dragon Ball Super. In the final quote-unquote episode of Dragon Ball Super in episode 131, they literally said they'll be returning soon. And they even set up the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie with a lot more future-proofing as to what's going to be going on in the series. Whether it be Frieza returning, whether it be continuing where the manga is right now. If you guys didn't already know, the manga just passed chapter 44 and chapter 43, which debuted the newest villain in the series. They skipped the Broly arc. However, if they do decide to continue the anime, they can always leave off with recapping the Broly arc and then moving towards Moro, who is the new enemy. Now, with that being said, would you guys prefer them to recap the Broly arc, or would you rather them go through and they leave off exactly where they did, and they just decide to like skim through the Broly arc and then they end up at Moro? The thing here is that they can really catch up to the manga rather quickly, and now that the manga finally passed the anime, it makes it a lot more timely and planned out when it comes to some of the content that you see. A lot of the content actually turned out to be better once it's in manga form, and this goes with a lot of animes, in manga form, and then they convert it to the anime. But with Dragon Ball Super, it got to the point even back in the day where they surpassed the manga, and literally they just finally caught up, and now it's as if they restarted again. It was a good move in the manga's part to decide, hey, let's just skip the Broly movie, because that entire content, all of that is going to be featured in the movie. Mind you, if you do look at the movie, there were some parts that were rushed, and it seems as though they could have included that in the director's cut, or what they did here is that they did rush it on purpose. I'm not saying that they did, but if they did decide to rush it on purpose, what that means is that they can flesh this out in the series. So, with that being said, would you guys rather see the Broly movie be retold with much more detail? I mean, there was a lot of things they could have added into that movie. I think most of us agreed on that, such as what's going to happen a little bit after where Broly is at, some of the things during the fights, some of the things with Bardock's origins and stuff like that. Some of those moments seemed rushed, and it's as if it was meant to be in anime form, minus the fight scenes. Those fight scenes, I don't think they could ever replicate. That's my opinion. Usually, whenever you see fight scenes return in the anime form, it's going to be lackluster compared to that of a movie budget. The movie budget is just non-stop action, and I think one of the few moments we ever got that in the Dragon Ball Super series was literally in the final 3 episodes. Episode 129, Episode 130, and Episode 131. All of those had fantastic movie quality animation. You also saw this in series like Naruto, where it was basically movie quality animation. I mean, it's like literally the last few episodes. So I think they're going to be continuing Dragon Ball Super. If not, it's going to be really weird that they don't do it this year. Most likely next year. It makes no sense to them not to. The brand is way too strong at this point. They future-proofed it with the movie, and it's just, they're selling everything off the walls. Like, literally, everywhere you go, the sales are just increasing and increasing and increasing. The fandom is alive more than ever, and it just was proven even more so from the Broly movie. So, at first we thought they were crazy before they announced the movie and when they ended the series. Then they announced the movie, then they announced Broly, then they announced Gogeta, then they announced Bardock, all in one movie. The fandom is insane right now. It'd be crazy not to capitalize this, and I think they all know that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you see Super returning this year or the next? Do you see them recapping the movie? And do you guys prefer either them just skipping over to where Moro is and then going ahead of the manga? I mean, if they decide to jump right back into it, like let's say this summer, like basically on the anniversary of when it started, I believe it was in July, it would be something else. I would say it would be really fast-paced for them just to go right back into it, start with Moro, and then they'll go right back to where they were, where they're just above the manga in terms of pacing. So I actually wish they were further ahead in the manga. I wish that right now we were like done with the Moro arc and we were moving on to something new, because it does worry me a bit that they can actually start back and end up messing up what could have been the Broly movie arc in the series. I actually would have preferred them to skip that, continue it off of the movie, because the movie canonized so many things. And mind you, the reason why they didn't decide to continue off with some of the old things is that, like, the first two movies, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, if you really think about it, yes, it was kind of filler-esque for them to kind of rush into the series and then start at episode 28, or was it 29 or 30? One of those episodes was technically the first episode of Super, but those two movies originally were Dragon Ball Z movies. Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods. Dragon Ball Z, Resurrection F. With Broly's movie, we all know what the title is. It's literally Dragon Ball Super. So, for it to continue in that level of continuity, it wouldn't make sense for them to go back and redo that in subpar animation, subpar quality. Not saying that they can't do it, I'm just saying that they won't. Animators get bored, people get bored. It's not the same spark you get for watching it the first time. That's why they knew this going into the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, and they decided to go all out, balls to the wall. We literally saw some of the greatest animation we've ever seen in anime history, and that's why that movie came out so great. Literally, I'm pretty sure all of the supervisors were like, yo guys, we got one shot at this, let's make it great. The only flaw with that movie was literally some of the time constraints that they had and cutting out some of the content. But once again, guys, would that have been solved with an anime form? I actually I'm happy with what we got here. If they make a director's cut, give us the director's cut. Give us the cutscenes. Don't put it in anime form. Let's just see where Moro is in the series. Hopefully the manga picks up some like pacing, because I mean, he's only landed on planet Namek now. He's only decided to encounter the Z Warriors in only 2 chapters so far. If they were to start the anime, that's not enough content for them to cover, which means most likely the best way to cover this is to do the movie over and let the manga stall and go forward. So let me know what you guys think. Either that, or we're gonna get slices of life episodes. And I mean, I'm not sure how everyone feels about this, but one of my favorite slices of life episodes was the baseball one, and that one was really funny. Especially, like, you can consider this one too, the one with Hit, where Goku technically got his heart stopped and stuff like that. Those parts of that little arc right there, in between the Tournament of Power and the and between like the Goku Black arc, that little filler part, that was alright. There was some episodes like the Great Saiyaman one that was just like but I don't necessarily mind it. Akira Toriyama himself has said that he prefers the characters more than the actual action in Dragon Ball now. So, I mean, what do you guys prefer now? The action, or do you guys prefer the characters? I mean, I like both. I think Dragon Ball, the best recipe for it is having a balance of both, and they've managed to perfect that. And when you see these characters on screen, even without them fighting, especially, you realize this in the Broly movie, when, like, if you sat and watched it in theaters with actual people around you, you noticed there's something otherworldly about the energy you get about watching Dragon Ball with friends in a different type of atmosphere. Even though it was in a theater surrounded by strangers, it felt like I knew these people my entire lives. And that's how Dragon Ball's always connected us. But I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are hyped about Dragon Ball Super returning, make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'll be seeing you guys next time. Take care. Peace.